In the first tutorial, one of the things that we had dragged onto the page was text. I have deleted everything else that we had put here, but I kept the text because I want to look at text a little bit more closely. Now, when we drag a piece of text from the Add to Site menu thingy, it will always be Helvetica at first, because that is the default font of Wix these days. It used to be something called Proxima Nova, which was very ugly, so I'm very happy that they changed it to Helvetica, which is actually a very nice font. However, we are probably still going to be changing it, especially when it comes to body text, and there are other tutorials on this site that I'm going to ask you to look at for that. But for now, let's just start looking at all the different things that we can do once we are inside the editor. Once we, let me just close this and just go to edit text. So it's the paragraph 1, the font is Helvetica, the font size is 22. Now we can increase that, or we can decrease that, whichever way we want. And as soon as we start playing around with this, it'll actually start also saying save theme, so that we can actually save a new theme if we want to. Let me just go back to 22. Now, we can make this bold from here, although it's probably a better idea to actually use a bold font. So for example, Helvetica Bold is right here, instead of using this bold thing here. So I'm going to uncheck that. We can make the text italic. We can underline it. So let me uncheck that as well, because we would not be doing that unless we wanted to specifically emphasize something. We can change the color of the text to anything that we like. However, in graphic design, we usually do not colorize text. We usually keep it either black, white, or gray. And there are tutorials about that elsewhere on the Wixtrix blog as well that you can look at, or in fact should look at. So, but anyway, you can change the color of the text. So let me just make it like this. But then another thing that you can do is you can also highlight the text. So for example, let me just, once you have selected all of it, you can just take a color and put it behind the text. So that's how the highlight works, and the highlight is actually a very good way of emphasizing certain parts of a text. So for example, if I just take this word click here and just highlight that, then that will make it quite noticeable inside the text. So it's a good way of highlighting text. Now let's continue. We can link things to the text, which is quite important. So let's, for example, let's assume that I also want to link this click here to somewhere. I can just open it. Now there are no pages on this text, so or on this on this brand new website, so I can't choose a page. There are no pages. This is just this home page, but I can choose a web address, which would mean that I would just paste the URL in here, and then I can also decide whether it's going to open in a new window or in the current window, so on top of the window, if it's going to go to the top or the bottom of the page. That's another thing I can do. I can attach it to an email, to a document, to an anchor, to a lightbox, and many different things if I want to. I don't want to do any of that right now, but this is also one of the things that you can do. You can link the text. Going back to editing the text, now one of the things of course we can do is we can align the text in different ways. So I can center it, I can right align it, and then I can justify it, which is usually quite problematic, and there are other tutorials on this website. So let's keep it left aligned for now, but there are also other ways of aligning a text as well. And then let me just take this one here and show you something else with this one. Now if I have different paragraphs, so I'm just going to make a few here just out of this text, and then if I select this, I can also add numbers to the text, or I can add bullets to the text. However, there's very little that you can do in terms of formatting this. Whatever the default design that Wix gives you, that is pretty much what you are stuck with. Now going back to this one here, you can move the text over, you can give it an indent, and you can give it even a second indent or whatever, and then, but let's just move it back. There's something here which I have no idea why anybody would want to use this, but you can reverse the text direction. You can change the text direction, but why would you use that when you can actually also use the alignment tool? I have no idea. Now, let's continue. The next thing up are effects, which I'm going to ask you very nicely to stay away from, because just the way that we don't use color in text, we also stay away from effects in text. So this one is one that you should skip. There are very nice things you can do with text, but giving them funny shadows and things like that are not among them. Now, but however, we come to another one here, which is quite an important one, which is character and line spacing. Now, the default character spacing will be 0. You can increase that, or you can decrease it. And usually with paragraph text, it's a good idea to decrease it a little bit, probably not as much as 0.05, but maybe something like 0.2 is a nice value. But then you also have line spacing, which in its automatic state will be 1.2, and this incidentally is a CSS code value. It's called EM, and the automatic is in the CSS coding language is usually called normal. Now, you can decrease this, although then your lines will start going on top of each other, so that's probably not a very good idea, but you can also increase it. And usually I like to bring it up to 1.3 or 1.4, because that usually makes a paragraph text more readable. So that's the other thing that you have, and these two are values that you should be looking at, unlike the effects that you, in all honesty, you should be staying away from. Now you can create vertical text like so, but there's another way that you can create this as well, which is you can actually just rotate the text. So and incidentally, if you want to duplicate something on the page, you just go copy paste and it'll just give you the same thing and put it right on top of it. Now you have the rotate thing right here, but if you hold down your shift key before you start rotating, then it will actually rotate this in clear increments. So right now it's 270 degrees, as you can see. I can also like 45, 30, 0, and then let's 60, 75, and 90. So, but you need to have be pressing down the shift key on your keyboard while you are doing that in order to get those exact increments. So that is another way that you can create vertical text, and I'm not sure that you actually need that this vertical text here. Now here we have the search engine optimization and accessibility, which works with HTML tags, and to be perfectly honest with you, I have never done this, I have never used it. So if I were to use it, I would click on learn more and read this, and then if I want to make this particular piece of text more accessible to the search engine, then I would be doing that. However, if you want to do that, you are going to have to figure that out by yourself, because quite honestly, I have never tried it. Before I said that you would probably want to upload your fonts, so let me also just show you very quickly how you do that. When you edit the text and you go on top of the font and you click on this pull down menu from where you're going to be selecting your fonts, right here down at the bottom you will see something called upload fonts, and that is basically what you need to upload your fonts, so which you downloaded into your computer, and there are plenty of videos about that on this site, on other posts, so you should be looking at those first, of course, how to figure out how to actually find fonts and how to download them and so on and so forth. But anyway, you click on that and then you go here to upload fonts, and then you need to go to wherever your fonts are in your hard drive. In my case they are right here, so it's just going to take me a second to figure out which one I want. So basically, if I just open this folder here. Then here are the fonts. I select all of them with Shift, and then I say open, which I'm not going to do now because I already have this font installed in Wix, and then it will just slowly start uploading them, and it takes a little while to upload the fonts. It doesn't happen very quickly, so you just need to wait for a few minutes until all of them are actually here. Now, alignment. I can just surround select all of these things, and then if I go here, then I can align them exactly to the left. Now I would not be able to align them to the middle or the right because the text is actually left aligned, so that would not be that easy to do. In order to make a right alignment, I would first need to go in here and then change all the alignment to the right, and then do the alignment with this. If I select all of them, I get this, but all of this would need to be right aligned in order for the right alignment to work. Right now when I click on it, nothing happens, and when I click on it on the left, nothing happens either, because one of these texts is actually now right aligned. So just you have to be quite sure that you have all the correct alignments inside the text editor before you can actually do an alignment. So let me just do it again. But then another thing we can do is we can distribute things equally by doing this here. The match size here, that would be with more complicated layout, so I don't think I'll be able to show you that right now. Let me just try it. No, it won't work. There's not enough here to be able for me to play around with that. Now, one last thing before I finish this. Now, we also have something called site styles. So let me just do this again. This little thing here with the drop, if you click on this, you have the site theme, which you can customize. You have the colors. So in default it comes with these very bright colors. You can change those, and you can add your own color palette, which is of course what you should be doing, and there are tutorials about that as well. But then let's go to the heading here. All of these, and these are right now, they are all Helvetica bold, and I can change all of those to my own fonts. So for example, if I don't want Helvetica, but instead of that I have a font here called Syra. I want Syra, and I don't want and I want Syra semi-condensed bold. So let's see, semi-condensed, semi-bold, yeah, right here. So, and then I can change the font size, I can change the character and line spacing, etc., etc., all these things that we were just talking about. So I also want to make it a bit narrower. So I'm going to do apply, and what will happen is that this will automatically update itself, and every new piece of text that is text snippet that we add is now going to be Syra and not Helvetica. And what you should be doing is not be lazy, and in the beginning actually change all of those to your fonts and to your values, so that you don't have to change it over and over and over again when you are actually working on your layout. And I think that pretty much does it for the things that I have to say about text and how you can format your text, and the things that you need to be paying attention to. So we will now continue on to images.